Good morning and welcome. Yet another day of active weather from coast to coast. Now, before you groan and reach for another coffee, let me reassure you. Nothing on this map today is necessarily overly dramatic or stormy. No major systems to name. No extreme warnings dominating the headlines. But that does not mean you should tune out. Because what we lack in drama, we make up for in complexity. The big focal point today is southern Ontario. And if you live there, or you know someone who does, you are going to want to pay close attention. We are tracking lots of moisture moving through. Rain. Freezing rain. And the kind of messy, marginal temperatures that make travel tricky and driving dangerous. Out on the prairies, we are dealing with an unsettled situation as well. Snowfall across parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Even some freezing rain, especially through the morning in southern Saskatchewan. Alberta, you will improve as the day goes on. And here is the good news. By the time we march into the weekend, things start to warm up. That is the big picture story. An upper-level ridge is starting to build. It will move from west to east, settling into the prairies, and that will trigger a warm-up. Not just for the prairies, but eventually for the Great Lakes and even into Atlantic Canada. And Atlantic Canada could use it. You have been much cooler than average through Thursday, but you will gradually start to recover through Friday and into the weekend. So yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But first, we have to get through Thursday. Let's break it all down, region by region, starting in the west and moving east. British Columbia, you are getting a bit of a break from active weather, at least through Thursday. The morning and afternoon should be fairly quiet. Enjoy that while it lasts, because rainfall will build back in from the north. There will also be some showers, hit or miss, in the interior. Very sporadic. Very scattered. Nothing widespread or organized, but enough to keep things damp if you happen to be under one of those showers. Temperatures across the north are generally cooler than normal by a few degrees. Nothing extreme, just a reminder that spring is not fully here yet. Moving into Alberta, you are starting off cool, but you will improve through the day. By the time we get to the weekend, that ridge I mentioned will start to work in your favor. Temperatures will climb. It will feel noticeably more pleasant. So hang in there. Over Saskatchewan and Manitoba, this is where things get a little more unsettled. We are tracking snowfall through parts of both provinces during the day. And here is the tricky part. There is even the potential for some freezing rain across southern and southeastern Saskatchewan. This is a classic early spring setup. Warm air trying to push in, cold air refusing to leave. The result is a messy mix that can make roads slick and dangerous. If you are driving in southern Saskatchewan this morning, take it slow. Bridges and overpasses will freeze first. Give yourself extra time. All of this active weather will eventually clear off towards the east. There will be a couple more clipper systems to get through as we head toward the weekend. But nothing significant. Nothing with a lot of punch. Just the usual back and forth as winter slowly loosens its grip. Now let's head into the Great Lakes, and specifically southern Ontario. This is the big story today. We are looking at rain and freezing rain moving through. And here is the important thing to understand. This is not going to be a continuous event through Thursday evening, through the overnight and into Friday morning. It will come in waves. There is a zone, a band if you will, where the likelihood of freezing rain is highest. But it will likely mix with regular rain from time to time, because temperatures during this whole period will be hovering right around the 0-degree mark. That makes forecasting tricky, and it makes driving even trickier. You could be driving in rain, hit a patch of freezing rain, and suddenly find yourself on ice. So if you are in southern Ontario today, be aware. Conditions can change rapidly depending on your elevation and your exact location. Now, this system will not venture too far north. But for areas like Sudbury and back towards Thunder Bay, we are looking at freezing drizzle and flurries expected. This is all thanks to one system that will be affecting northern Ontario. Southern Ontario gets the rain and freezing rain. Northern Ontario gets the frozen stuff. And there is another concern we need to talk about. A lot of areas to the north, such as Parry Sound, Muskoka, over towards Peterborough and further north, have lots of snow still on the ground. Add that to the warmer conditions moving in, and the rainfall we are expecting, and localized flooding becomes a definite possibility. Those snowpacks act like sponges, but they can only absorb so much. When rain falls on deep snow, especially if it falls quickly, water has nowhere to go. Low-lying areas could see pooling. Roadways could see runoff. If you live in these areas, clear your storm drains if you can safely do so, and keep an eye on any trouble spots near your property. Moving east into southern Quebec, you are looking at cooler than average conditions today. But it is quiet. Generally quiet across the province. No major systems. No big headaches. Just a typical cool March day. And finally, we get to Atlantic Canada. You were much cooler on Wednesday, and that cooler air is sticking around for Thursday. Daytime highs across the Maritimes will be in the mid to upper single digits. Generally quiet but noticeably cooler than what you might have hoped for. There will be some gusty winds coming in from the west. Anywhere from 50 to 75 kilometers an hour across parts of the region. Slightly lighter wind gusts expected across the Maritimes compared to Newfoundland, but still enough to make it feel colder than the thermometer suggests. And there will be the opportunity for a bit of snow across western Newfoundland. Nothing major, but a reminder that winter is not quite finished with the rock. Now, here is the good news for Atlantic Canada. You will gradually start to recover through Friday and into the weekend. That upper ridge building in the west will eventually push east, and by Saturday, things start to look better. Speaking of the weekend, let's talk about what comes next. Once we get through Friday night and into Saturday, there is yet another system moving in. But this time, it is tracking well to the north. So for most areas, it is mostly a rainfall situation. Not a snow event. Not a major storm. Just another system moving through, bringing rain to some areas and flurries to others. For the prairies, once we get into Saturday, that system tracks well to the north. That will allow that warmer air to really fuel itself into Alberta and Saskatchewan. Temperatures will climb. It will start to feel like spring might actually be possible. And rainfall continues into the weekend across British Columbia, so the coast will stay damp while the interior sees those hit or miss showers. Let's do a quick tour of the numbers so you have them for your planning. In Vancouver, a break from rain today with temperatures near 6 degrees. Victoria, similar at 7 and mostly cloudy. Prince George, flurries possible and -8. In Calgary, improving through the day, starting near -10 and climbing. Edmonton, similar, starting cold but warming. Saskatoon, snow possible and -12. Regina, freezing rain possible this morning, so be careful, temperatures near -8. Winnipeg, mostly cloudy and -13. In Thunder Bay, freezing drizzle and flurries, -15. Sudbury, freezing drizzle and -6. Toronto, rain and freezing rain developing, temperatures hovering near 0. Ottawa, cloudy and -2. Montreal, cloudy and -4. Quebec City, cloudy and -6. In Fredericton, cloudy and -1. Halifax, cloudy and 1 degree. Charlottetown, cloudy and 0. St. John's, cloudy with a chance of snow, -2, and gusty winds up to 75 kilometers per hour. In Whitehorse, cloudy and -12. Yellowknife, clear and -25. Iqaluit, cloudy and -28. If you are flying today, check your airline. The freezing rain in southern Ontario and southern Saskatchewan could cause delays, especially in the morning hours. The gusty winds in Newfoundland might impact smaller aircraft. Elsewhere, conditions should be manageable. So that is your Thursday. A day of transition. A day of marginal temperatures and messy mixes. A day where the big story is not a dramatic storm, but the slow, complicated shift from winter towards spring. That upper ridge building in the west is our friend. It will bring warmer air to the prairies first, then the Great Lakes, then Atlantic Canada. By the weekend, things start to look noticeably better for much of the country. But we have to get through today first. So if you are in southern Ontario, watch for that freezing rain. If you are in southern Saskatchewan, be careful on the roads this morning. If you are in western Newfoundland, bundle up against that wind. And if you are anywhere with snow on the ground and rain in the forecast, keep an eye out for localized flooding. Check on your neighbors. Make sure pets are inside and warm. Give yourself extra time if you are commuting. And remember, every day we get through is one day closer to spring. Thank you for starting your day with us. This is Thursday, March 5th, and we are watching it all, from the freezing rain in Ontario to the warm-up building in the West.